Failcast. I'm Jack, here with Jesse.
Hello.
And Caliban, the manliest manatee.
Hi.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're actually absent a person. We were supposed to have Revelo, who I think his real name is Chris, but he's betrayed us.
The traitor. We must get him and bring him to the court-martial.
Now, see, I'm a bigger fan of the have them dig their own graves and then kill them with Tommy guns solution to these problems.
Well, of course, that's a sentence, but there must be justice served.
No. You just do it quickly.
I think
Efficiency is what that is.
I think if you just ignore them, the social stigma will make them real depressed inside, and then they can just live the rest of their life being depressed and sad.
So it's like hipster Hitler's death ray.
I think, if we wanted to go to that route, we have to make sure that they are absolutely crushed by it and make it very much public knowledge that they are shameful human beings.
Have either of you ever seen Hipster Hitler?
No.
It's a
I've seen
webcomic.
it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. And basically the death ray is Herman Goering is like, oh, so you're showing me your new death ray? And he's like, yeah, see, we're going to test it on this man here. Mein Führer, nothing's happening. Oh, it's silently judging him. Trust me, he's dying on the inside. Yeah. Anyway, I think this may have been the quickest start to a podcast that we've ever had, not counting the wait that we put aside for Revelo, because we pretty much just got onto Skype. Audacity open? Yep, let's go. Just got right into it. Normally there's like at least 3 minutes or so of waffling before we actually do anything.
It's like I gotta go into the bathroom, or I gotta go and set this up, or... But to be fair, we did start kind of late. We were all... The three of us, at least, were all ready to go.
Yeah, me and Caliban just spent the entire half an hour having one of our heart-to-hearts that we have.
Yes.
Indeed.
About the usual, world domination, destruction, fire.
And killing Piers Morgan.
Yes, that is always the end goal, of course.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna open my iron brew.
I just spent the last half hour listening to a Learn How to Speak Welsh podcast.
Welsh is a language? I thought it was just people being drunk.
No. I'm Yorkshire. No, it's not a language. It shouldn't be a language. Shut up.
Like, I've read how to pronounce things. It's just nice to actually have a podcast where I can listen to someone pronounce it.
Question. Why would you do that to yourself?
Isn't Welsh just basically a string of vowels and consonants? It doesn't make any sense
No,
whatsoever.
it's a string of words that have no vowels in them except for Y, if you count Y as a vowel.
Ah, that's Welsh. Okay, yeah.
In my opinion,
Why do you want to learn Welsh?
In my opinion, it's more of like an Englishman, a Frenchman, and a German. Oh no, sorry, an Englishman who knows French and German got really pissed drunk one night and tried speaking all three of them at once.
So it's basically a threesome of languages.
Exactly.
Which isn't as fun as it sounds.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
But
I just thought it'd be nice to learn a language besides
But
German.
why don't you go for
And so
Russian
you
or
picked
something?
the one that you can guarantee that you'll never meet anyone who speaks it.
Yeah, 'cause there's probably only about 1 million speakers out there, which
I mean,
is not very many.
No, your job is that you deal with international exchange students, and you didn't think to learn a language that could be applicable with them.
Well,
like you could have learnt German or Spanish or anything.
To be admitted to the United States as a student, you do have to prove English proficiency.
Yeah, but I just mean that it would still be more useful for interacting with them than Welsh.
To be honest, the Germans that come here speak better English than most of the Americans.
Like Caliban.
Exactly.
But why didn't you just, why didn't you learn Russian? I mean, Russian is a badass language. If you're ever in trouble, just start
And that's
speaking
coming from a
Russian.
German.
Just start speaking Russian and everyone will just back off immediately.
Yeah.
Well, I figure
Because,
I figure if I start speaking Welsh, just starting it, people will be turned off by that and ignore me, and it'll just it'll be
but
my
see,
go-to to make them just sort of shut up and go away. Whereas if I speak German, there's a good chance that a lot of students know German in America. Every college has German. A lot of high schools have German.
That's fair enough. To actually get onto a topic now, Jesse.
We are on the topic. We're
I did not
discussing
bring it up.
languages.
I did not bring it up.
I can't even remember how this conversation started.
Actually, I do remember it, and I did bring it up. But that's beside the point.
Damn it, Jesse. Anyway, I posted this on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it to Caliban, but I'm on the run up to my exams. My first exam is in less than a week, so I thought it would be a fantastic idea to start playing Civilization 4 again.
Well, of course, you don't have anything better to do you?
Yeah, it's not like I'm preparing for a future.
Nah, fuck the future. Fuck
'Cause
your future self.
Because
Dick.
that's a job for future Jack. Boy, I sure don't envy that guy.
Yeah, my future self's a dick, as is my past self.
My present self is where it's at, boy.
Nah, he's a dick as well.
I'm just happy school is out, at least for me. Because even though I have a full-time job, I'm taking a grad program on the side. And it's probably not recommended to do that, but this was the last week of school, so first thing I did on Friday after I got home from work was I brought a friend over, we had a barbecue, and then I stayed up till 4 a.m. playing video games. Haven't done
So
that.
most nights for me then.
Yeah, I haven't stayed up past 11 o'clock.
I'm
in a long
lying.
time.
There's never barbecue weather in England.
Oh.
It's always barbecue weather, no matter the weather, It's only, the question is how much lighter fluid do you need?
That's
Yeah,
also,
there is a... Go on.
that's also why they invented roofs.
Yeah, but that's it's a running joke I have is that I'll walk out when it's pissing it down, and the moment someone asks me about the weather, I'll just say that it's sunbathing weather. Because it's England.
Fair enough. It explains why every single time I see an English guy or an English person somewhere on a holiday, they're either pale as the moon or red like boiled lobster. There is no in between.
Actually, my family, if I can trust my slightly xenophobic uncle on this one, my family have incredible skin.
How so?
Well, the example that my, once again, rather strange uncle gave was that him and my dad were on holiday together in Turkey, and, they were handling the sun better than the locals.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But then again, my prime example was, I've seen an English family in an airport, and it was very much apparent that they just came back from somewhere. They had pink t-shirts, pink pants,
And pink skin.
luggage, and yes, very much pink skin, completely pink.
Oh, God.
It was really interesting to see that.
Yeah, it probably was.
And the first thing you thought was, let's go get some pork chops.
I think the
pork
first...
is my least favourite meat.
But why is that?
It just doesn't stand up to lamb and beef and chicken.
I'm in a stage in my life where I'm just glad to get any kind of meat at all. Because
Including
usually...
cock.
Whoa! Wow.
I think, yes. I should have seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Oh, what was I actually going to say? Oh, yeah. I was talking to someone in my college, and she'd recently become vegetarian, and it set off alarm sensors in my brain. It was either vegetarian or vegan. I don't suppose it really matters. But I just kind of twigged it because I had just been thinking, God, it seems like everyone's turning vegetarian not because they actually give a shit about the animals, but because they can then say that they're vegetarian or vegan or whatever. So the first thing I asked was, do you still eat fish? Yeah, of course, she replied. And I was like, but you can't eat meat. Oh, fish isn't meat.
You are a greater man than I am. I would have gone for a different question.
And what would that have been?
Well, something about man juices and yes. Very much worse than that.
But just how is fish not meat?
I don't know. I asked someone the same question for Lent this
well,
year.
it doesn't come from mammals. Meat is flesh from an animal.
Yes, it is.
Fish are no less like animals than cows, and it's animals and plants. There's no in between.
But my guess would have been that she was a vegetarian then, not a vegan.
I don't just. Even so, if you're a vegetarian.
It's the idea, though. It's still meat. It's.
Yes.
I have no idea how vegetarian brains work. Maybe she was just delusional because she didn't have bacon for a week or something. Maybe her brain stopped working properly and she was just
Probably.
I need fish now. I need some kind of dead animal inside me.
I will say
Didn't know she was a necrophiliac.
Oh. I will say
And
for,
yeah.
You see, you raced to interrupt me there so that I couldn't make that joke. But I wouldn't let that happen.
Well, I braced myself for this joke because as soon as I realized what I had just said, I knew it was coming.
I didn't know she was Bella Swan.
Yeah, that's
Choosing
a
between
vampire joke,
necrophilia
so-
and bestiality. But in this case, she chose both.
anyway, well, actually, before we get to video games, I did for 1 week.
Hey, I
out
already
of-
mentioned Civilization 4. It counts.
For 1 week, I did try going without meat, just for 1 week to see how long I could actually last, and I made it for 6 days.
Then what happened?
Then I went and had a chili dog.
Nice.
It was not easy though, because that week my office decided, hey, we're gonna bring food to work, and so one day they brought hamburgers from a local hamburger place, which is really
So
good.
it was like
They
the seven
brought-
circles of hell.
The next day they brought pizza. Then another day they brought stuff to make their own chili dogs.
And that's when you broke.
The day after is when I broke. I was like, I want chili dogs.
Fair enough.
It's not recommended. I have to have meat.
Well, I can go without meat for weeks at end because I have to pay for my meat myself, but I wouldn't, I don't do it because I don't want to eat meat, but because meat is expensive.
You have to pay for it yourself.
This is the thing about Yorkshire. Every when you're like eating on a bargain and you get pre-made stuff like or just something from the shop or whatever that's like pre-cooked or whatever the hell. Everything around here that is food that can be qualified as a meal has meat in it. I mean, for instance, me when I want to get a cheap meal, my choices are a sausage roll, which obviously is a sausage roll, or a Cornish pasty, which is a pastry containing peas, carrots, in a large amount of beef. Or, I can get one of those Rustler's burgers that's essentially cancer that you microwave.
Well, that sounds healthy.
Oh, yeah. But my point is that there is, no cheap vegetarian alternative because this is Yorkshire.
Fair enough.
Honestly, there was this girl that I could have hit it off with and we get along incredibly well. We like dogs and basically all the same stuff, Adventure Time and all that crap. But she is a vegetarian and I am as far away from vegetarian as you can get.
Well, convert her then.
Because it's like not only do I eat meat, 2 out of 3 times a day, I have a leather cowboy hat, my boots are made of leather, all that crap, and I recently got a coyote fang necklace.
But you don't go around strangling animals, do you? Or killing animals for fun or something?
Well, I hunt and shoot.
So that's out the window as well.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd have made a great pair.
No, and she knows about that. I wasn't gonna lead her on or anything. Just that's not gonna work. Back away.
When I was still
Yeah.
working towards my bachelor's at the university, I met a girl from Norway, and it was starting to go off all right. And then I found out she was vegan,
Crap.
and I was just like, you can't even have a little bit of milk. It's like, this ain't gonna work at all.
No. See, one
Nah.
of the things that I couldn't date a vegan because one of the things that often impresses the women's about me is that I love to bake. But
Ooh,
I
yeah.
do not have the patience to learn how to make eggless and milkless cake.
No.
It's very easy. Just take the fun out of the cake.
Yes.
I gotta say, if I ever got a girlfriend or, if I ever am
For
interested
the
in a girl...
first time.
Yes, exactly, for the first time. In a year or something. A bit more. Her being a vegan would be a total game breaker. I mean, it's just... As soon as I found that one out, I'd be out of there.
It's like, you cheated on me. Yeah, well, you don't eat right.
Yeah, you cheated... I may have cheated on you with your own mother, and your sister, and your cousin.
And the mailman.
No, the male woman. The mailman was busy banging your dad.
Oh, God.
But you don't drink milk.
That'd be the first time that you couldn't use milk drinker as an insult.
Hey, I like to drink milk. A lot of
No, but
milk.
have you ever seen, the thing where, there'd be, a manly man drinking a beer or something, he'd be, talking to a much smaller, much weaker individual, he'd be like, you weak little milk drinker, and the person's like, oh. Okay.
I wouldn't use that as an insult because I do drink a lot of milk. So I don't, it's a common joke that gets thrown at me that I'm only as tall as I am because I drink a lot of milk.
Actually, that joke hits very close to home because I don't drink alcohol, and milk is like my second favorite drink. So that happens quite often.
So you are a literal milk drinker.
Yeah. But I
What
have
is your
to...
first favorite drink then?
Water.
What about chocolate milk?
If I have cold water, that's delicious. Milk, I like cold milk, and I like chocolate milk after that.
Interesting.
But I have to say,
Yeah,
with women in relationships, I can see if you're a gamer, she's not, or if she's an outdoors type and you're not. You can find workarounds, but when it comes to the kitchen,
comes to meals, the things that you need to do to live.
you have to share that kitchen, and it's you don't want to have separate meals, and it's I don't know, I feel like the kitchen is the one area where you do have to have some similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. And
Of course, you need to find some kind of activity that you can share because, for example, I'm a guitarist. I wouldn't want to focus on dating
I
a chick
thought
that
that was what
plays
sex
guitar.
was for.
What? Yes, that is one activity, but I mean, yes, you can do that 24/7, of course. But some society will look on you funny if you tell them that you've just spent the last 3 days inside boning your brains out.
I wasn't aware there was any other way.
Okay, yes, that's what a friend of mine says. That a relation will work as long as the sex is good.
Oh, for sure. Well,
And the true love is only something that can be found after you stop having sex.
fair enough. That is, yeah.
Words
That
of
point
wisdom
is
as
quite
done by
philosophical.
Caliban.
Oh, yeah.
Words of
Peter
wisdom.
Pietruk himself.
You almost got my name right this time. I am honored.
How far off was I?
Very.
Okay, no. What is it again?
I'm not gonna bother for a third time. It's maybe
Come on. I'm determined to get this. Just like I got Chirts Doma.
Pietruk.
Pietruk.
Pietruk, yes.
Pietruk. I'm gonna remember this.
It's too Russian, less Russian pronunciation. Pietruk, just, a bit
Pietruk.
softer. It's still too harsh.
Pietruk.
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 Almost there, yes.
And that's the
mean-
rest of this podcast. Us saying Pietruk for an hour.
And we've learned CalibanButcher's true name over the course of 2 hours.
So I know what I think I know what we're naming this podcast, Jack.
What, just phonetically spelling out Pietruk?
Exactly.
And I've got some topic to discuss again, because, we might get back on some kind of track. I've seen the new Star Trek movie.
Star Wars.
Star Trek.
Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars. There are no lightsabers and no force.
Stargate.
It looks like Star Wars, but it's Star Trek. And I've never
Uh-huh.
watched Stargate except for the movie, which I liked fine, but wasn't anything special.
I am considering watching Stargate Atlantis.
I liked Atlantis. I liked both the original and Atlantis. I didn't like the third one that came out.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Back
Anyway.
again to Star Trek Into Darkness.
Go on it.
It's a fun movie. It's really good. It's better than Iron Man 3 for all things. And yes, I really did
I've
not
seen
like
Iron Man 3 and it's brilliant.
I'm gonna see it
I
this week.
really disliked Iron Man 3. I think it was the weakest of the Marvel movies so
No,
far.
I think that 2 was the weakest Iron Man film, and I think that 3 it kind of like, matches against 1 for the best. I'm not sure which one I prefer.
Nah, Iron Man 2. I think I liked Iron Man 2 better because I liked Mickey Rourke a lot. And I really did not care very much for the twist in Iron Man 3. It was way too obvious, and the setup wasn't good, and the payoff just sucked big, hairy balls.
Nah, I liked it quite a lot, but I'm not going to argue this with you, because
You can't argue taste, and this would probably take too long.
indeed it would.
But yeah, the new Star Trek movie is really
But like
fun.
50 Iron Man suits at once, you can't admit that's not awesome.
It wasn't. I never got the feeling that this was awesome. The way it was shot was just meh. Ah, more meh. Oh, look, another Iron Man suit. Oh, it's broken now. Oh, look. They were trying to emulate the Avengers feeling with big, beautiful action scenes again. But it was all just meh-y. There were
Anyway,
50
go on,
Iron
tell
Man
us about
suits, but
Star
still...
Trek Into Darkness.
Yes, Star Trek Into Darkness. The action scenes were brilliantly done, I believe. Benedict Cumberbatch, who has a really fun name to say, was great as Khan. And I've discussed with a few Trekkies already. Apparently they, what I would call nods to the fans, or not as much nods to the fans to real fans as much as flipping the bird and wanking in their faces. But
Fair
me
enough.
being a total Star Trek idiot, I've never watched the original series, I've only seen the original movies.
Neither have I.
But I really liked this movie. It was better than all the movies before it. And I liked Star Trek, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, the first one, better than all the other original movies.
Yeah, I like that movie as well. It's kind of annoying that it gets, well, pissed on essentially by the Star Trek fans.
Yeah, fuck the Star Trek fans. Fuck 'em. I like that. I like the new stuff. You know, the old stuff probably was groundbreaking back then. But if we're being honest, William Shatner never could act. He wasn't a good actor. He'll never be a good actor. And saying that the new
have
Kirk...
you seen George Takei doing the roast of William Shatner? Or George Takei, sorry.
I've
Yeah.
seen him do it. I like George Takei, of course, but the new
George
Zulu
Takei
is
is amazing.
great. The
Remember
new
it
Zulu is great as well.
Yeah, but when he did the roast of William Shatner, and on the subject of his acting, he went, and I'm going to do my Takei impression here. He went, "If my partner sucked that hard, I'd never leave my chateau."
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And I was just like, yes, Takei. Oh god.
That's something.
Still, I don't think anything ever would beat the line that he opened with.
What do you say?
It smells like pussy in here, I think.
Yep, that's a good opening.
Nothing beats that.
But as I said, the new Star Trek movie is really good. I liked it better than most of the Marvel movies as well. A friend of mine liked it better than the Avengers, something that I will not publicly admit to on an internet forum that basically heralds the Avengers as the second coming of, I don't know, Joss Whedon. I'm not going to say Jesus.
Well,
I
it
think
is the
Joss Whedon
second
more popular.
coming of Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I think Joss Whedon is more popular than Jesus on The Escapist, so I'm just not going to...
Of course he's more popular than Jesus on The Escapist. It's like the most atheist forum ever.
I don't know, I've stayed out of the religion and politics stuff because, well, I like the off-topic discussions. They're friendlier, generally. Except for the sexism stuff.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
So then,
But
Calvin,
as I said, yep.
So this week I was going to go see Iron Man 3, but you're saying it's probably better to choose Star Trek.
Yeah, but I'm saying that Iron Man 3 is great, so that's a counter opinion.
Okay.
If I had the choice, I would go see Star Trek Into Darkness, but that's just my opinion, and it might be because lately I've grown very bored of the whole superhero movie scene.
Yeah, I think you told me about that, but I would see it just to get your own opinion on it.
Just go watch both of them.
Yeah, do it back to back. That's what my friend always does.
Yeah. Well, one requires me to actually. We have a theater in town, but it's not very good, so I'm gonna go to a different city to watch it.
Oh yeah, we the nearest town to my village has a terrible movie theatre, so I always go there to hop on the train to go into Bradford, which is a terrible, terrible place, but it has a good movie theatre.
We have 3 movie theaters in my town, and I need less than 10 minutes to walk to each of them, and they're all great.
You suck.
You don't get to call your place a town, though.
It is a town.
What's the population?
I don't know, with or without students. Probably
With-
it's a city. It's more of a city, but I think we
Exactly.
have 80,000 students. But it's always called a town in Germany because it's said it's not a town. It's not a town with a university. It's a university with a town attached to it.
You have more
Oh, you know,
students than any town I've lived in.
You know, as I said, I've been playing Civilization 4.
Yes.
I'm playing Gandhi, and though I've had no military conflict yet, one very un-Gandhi-like thing I'm doing is building a very powerful standing army.
Are you also building nukes?
No,
It's
because
just
I'm nowhere near reaching a nuke yet. I've got like archers and pikemen.
But do that because, well, I always gotta say it cracks me up to read on the screen when it says Mahatma Gandhi just developed nukes.
Yeah,
just
'cause
the
it's just-
least Gandhi-like thing ever.
I'm not going to go chasing people down, but what I'm going to do is have this massive standing army so that when eventually one of them decides to get cocky, I'm just going to rain hell down upon them and raise all of their cities.
None of that turning the other cheek bullshit for you then.
I'm not even going to keep the cities, I'm going to raise them to the ground just because then I'm raising cities to the ground as Gandhi.
So Jack's Gandhi philosophy is, I will bring peace to my country by attacking yours.
Well,
No,
like I said, I'm not
his
going to.
Gandhi is
I'm
worse
not
than-
going to start conflicts. I'm going to finish them.
Your Gandhi will actually be worse than Genghis Khan. You know, Genghis Khan just taxed the people whose cities he conquered. Your Gandhi will just burn the earth.
I've actually made friends with Genghis Khan.
You know, at some point Genghis Khan will look at you and say, "Whoa, easy there, fella."
Now, are you
yeah.
are you referring to me on the Xbox?
No, the actual Mongolian warlord.
Because my Xbox name is Chinggis Khan.
Have you changed your username yet?
Oh, to my escapist name?
No, I thought you said you were going to change your escapist screen into Chinggis Khan.
No, I was gonna do the opposite. Use my
Oh,
escapist
okay.
name to change it and change my Xbox name. But
I think Chinggis Khan is better.
I'm just gonna leave it as it is.
Alright. See, but yeah, at the same time as I'm doing all that, I am trying to, the funny thing is that on top of all that, I am trying to go for, like, some sort of cultural victory or space race or whatever, because I think it's more interesting to win in a way that doesn't involve crushing everyone. All I'm saying is that while I am Gandhi, I'm going to destroy anyone that wrongs me.
So you're basically going to the peaceful route until someone crosses you in any way whatsoever. Then you will retaliate with
I'm
ultimate
actually being
force.
really accommodating for all the people. Like, they've all been like, ooh, should we open our borders to each other? And I'm like, alright. Like, I'm going to be nice, it's just, as soon as you decide to pull a dick move on me, it's going to be like the end of the dinosaurs, but for you.
And knowing the AI, it won't be too long.
No, it won't be. I remember my last game, I didn't do what I'm doing now. I was rather more peaceful. And then Queen Victoria decided to pull one over on me.
What a bitch.
I know, and in that one, and I'm trying to avoid this now, and it kind of annoys me that in most of the Civ games that I've played so far, all or most of the civilizations appear to be like dotted just around me, quite close from the start, which means that I can have trouble. You have trouble sometimes expanding your initial borders, which means I'm trying to like establish like a line of cities, so that I can just build up their borders, by like increasing their influence and their culture and everything, just so that I can like push my way out into what amounts to freedom. Because it seems like all of the empires are starting in this same, but then really small part of the world, because there's so much more to it. Like we haven't even reached the coast yet.
Wow, that's something.
I know, it's just like, I think it would be interesting if it like literally like dotted them around on different continents, so that by the time you met each other, you had all like built up yourself quite a bit. But as it happens with most if not all of the Civ games that I've played so far, it's been like you meet a fair few of them within like the first 30 turns or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
And you get to keep an eye on their development and advancement, and there's no real threat to progress other than, okay, he moved something, so I'm gonna catch up. Whereas
I
if you
think
didn't know where they were and didn't know where they were at,
yeah, I think it would just be interesting to be able to meet someone, and I kind of had this, although I didn't have much interaction with Japan on my last game, and before I was destroyed by Queen Victoria because, as I said, I was a bit hemmed in. But I just mean, I think with Japan, I met him much later on by the time that we were moving into like the gunpowder era. And so that was more interesting just because he'd developed kind of like in isolation of everybody else.
that's what I liked about the Empire Earth series of RTS. It expanded from the Stone Age all the way to the Nano Age in space. And
That sounds really interesting.
if you were slow, you might be in the Roman period when your opponent might be in the late industrial, so World War I age, and will start rolling you over with tanks. Or you might finally get gunpowder and their ICBM nukes just come down and crush everything you have.
See, it can be like that, but I think that there would only be such a big gap in Civ if one of you was to completely ignore sort of military development whatsoever. Because like you do have to do things. It does make you develop everything incrementally, but then there are a lot of choices to make. But it means that in some you'll be completely modern in some respects, but the other one will be modern in different respects.
Yeah.
And then obviously it depends how much you trade in between yourselves.
And
we were all developing. I was the first to develop in my last game, musket rifleman or whatever. But pretty soon the others are all caught up. So
I can appreciate a game that doesn't just go full military. Like I love Age of Empires, but when you have games like Civ that try to introduce other conditions, I think I enjoy that equally or as more, just because when I started off, I liked the whole war aspect, but as I grew older, I kind of wanted to try to do other things.
Yeah, that's what I like. I mean, I go on Rome Total War when I want to be a battle commander, but I like Civ for the opportunities that it affords me. And even then, I think you could turn Civ into an RTS game just by disabling the other options as paths to victory. Because you can do that. You can disable space race and establish that as this and that as goals. So then you could essentially just have it that you would have to flatten everybody else.
I haven't played an RTS since Age of Empires 2, I believe, so I really can't comment on anything
The
RTS related.
I always recommend to people is Rome Total War, just because I think the Total War games, in terms of I wouldn't call Civ an RTS. That doesn't seem like an RTS to me. But
No, because that's turn-based.
yeah, so it's not. But if we're speaking RTSs, Total War I just think is better than all the other RTSs, just because it's less about spamming unit development as it is. You make the units in the overworld, and you have to manage cities and keep the citizens happy in the overworld. And when you go into battles, you have whatever units you manage to get to that point on the map. So when you're pitching your units around on the map and in the actual battle, it's more about the strategy of how you actually manage those units, rather than just, I'm going to spam these units because I managed to produce more than this guy.
Yeah.
Or more of that right type of unit to win.
When you play what was it? XCOM, right? For the Xbox, you bought that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I did not.
Because I think
because
that
Xbox.
There's strategy and then there's tactical, and I also really like tactical because now it doesn't matter about the macro game, the micro. It's all about you have units on a field, they have units on a field. Now, how you gonna make that work? Rather than I just got more resources. I'm putting buildings down at the right time.
Yeah, see, that's what I hate about RTS as in general, which the Total War series doesn't do.
And I like all the series. It's just there are days where I don't feel like doing this build, trying to keep up with my opponent. There are days where I just want to have a small squad. Like Close Combat: A Bridge Too Far on the PC was a really fun game like that. It was based on the Allied advance into the Netherlands, Belgium, sorry. And it's tactical, so you have units on the field, and you get reinforced eventually, but you're not building those units.
Oh yeah.
And it's really, I like that on some days instead of just worrying about the big game or about conquering countries and everything.
Yeah, like with Total War, if you move two unit, if you're moving different armies around, and one of you starts a battle close enough that one of your other units can make it onto the battle zone, then it'll be like you're waiting for those reinforcements, which you can then choose to control as you're controlling the rest of your units when they arrive, or you can do what I often do and computerize them so that I can just focus on this one army, and then the other one comes in, and it's like I'm actually being assisted by another general or something, which I think is always quite fun.
Yeah. With Close Combat, it did have a few special mechanics. Like there was a morale system where the longer you can use your units continue from battles, and if they're in many battles, their morale will get lower, or if they lose too many men, they'll get lower, and they don't fight as well. They also have a panic.
Yeah, that's what they do in Total
ability.
War. If they're being destroyed, then your men will start to flee, which can really if even like that's one way that you can always win battles that aren't really in your favour, just by freaking out the enemy soldiers and making them run. And I've actually lost a few armies by having them or turn and flee on me.
I've sent bazooka squads up through the hedgerows, and suddenly there'll be a German tank. I'll be like, oh, I got a bazooka. I may not win this battle, but at least I can damage it. I'll tell them to attack that German tank, and I think in one case it was a Tiger, so there was no way it was going to destroy it. They knew that was going to happen, so the AI told me no, and they refused to go and attack the tank.
Yeah.
And I hated that because I'm like, no, I gave you an order. I'm the Supreme Overlord. Go over the hedgerow and shoot the damn thing. And they're like, nope,
That
we're
would be
staying
quite
here.
interesting.
You can
You'll
turn
have to
it.
court-martial some of them.
You can turn that feature off, but it is amusing to watch it because it's like,
Yeah,
we're not gonna do that. That's stupid.
Yeah. I remember once, one of my cities was being laid siege to by the Carthaginians in Rome Total War, and this was when I was at war on 4 separate fronts across the map, but so four different enemy empires. So as you can imagine, I was stretched quite thin, and so the city was under siege for ages by the Carthaginians, by this massive Carthaginian army, about 3 times the size of the forces that I had defending it. And I was moving an army that was about half the size of the offending army towards it, but it was just making its way really gradually across the map because it was coming from a really far away city, the only city that I could afford to bring those troops from. And so I was waiting. I was like, don't attack, just keep the siege going, because we have enough supplies to wait it out until they get there. But then just before my guys got there, they attacked. So I was like, oh shit. And what I ended up doing was positioning my defending troops at the core of the city, in the courtyard that has the flag in it. And I positioned them in all the gaps coming in, the streets coming into this courtyard. And I was just like, fuck it, there's nothing I can do. Just press the battle and hit maximum fast forward. They all came in. And I just oh shit, I got defeated. Looked at the battle statistics. By closing off all of those streets, my men had managed to kill 3/4 of their army before being killed.
Well, it sounds a bit like the 300 principle,
It was. It was amazing.
Make everything inaccessible and just put 2 men there guarding, and if those 2 men die, 2 men behind them and stuff.
So
that's pretty much what it was.
So it's like
the best thing was that all of those soldiers that I was using were just town guards and shit, but they couldn't flee because they would flee back to the courtyard because that was the only place they could go to. So they just ended up panicking and fighting to the death.
Not a bad thing then.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Anyway, yes. So games.
As I said, I think I've told you, but I haven't played video games in weeks now. So I'm a bit, can't really comment on anything as far as video games are concerned.
The other night, my friend and I, for the game that I stayed up till 4 a.m. to play, we played Realm of Ancient War. Very similar to Diablo 2, if you want to think of what it looks like. You just have 3 characters, you go to different maps, fighting monsters. Started off kind of generic, and then as the game progressed, it got more and more fun. And I would definitely recommend that if there are two of you and you want to play on the same screen, and you have that, definitely play it. It's a good way to kill hours. It's a good way to yell at each other, and it's a pretty cheap game too.
I just love that we're now starting to talk about same room co-op as a novelty, when back before it was the standard.
That was all there was. Well, that's why
Yeah,
that's what I grew up with. It was my friends and I would play 007, Perfect Dark. There's another one on the 64. I can't remember.
Smash Brothers?
Well, yeah, that one too. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Today, just today actually, when I was taking a break from revision, my friend came over and then I remember that there was a co-op mode on Far Cry 3 where a separate campaign that was linearized, and so we were just playing that together, and it was really fun. And it was
Same room co-op is always a good idea for a new game because, well, most people I know do have friends, and friends like to do stuff together rather than just sit there and watch someone else play video games.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's the student mechanic, is that these people are all going to be living together, and there are billions of college and university whatever students in the world, and they're all going to be living in clusters, and they're probably all going to have a games console between them. So really,
Yeah.
it's just a poor business decision not to include that sort of thing.
Very much so, because, well, if I'm ever, around or going out in the evening to friends, sometimes we like to play video games together, and if there's a game that does not feature a single player, we won't buy that game, we won't rent the game, because, well, it's just single player with no meaning, with no way to play co-op. That's just boring.
Yeah, I think you meant multiplayer there, because you said if there's no single player.
Oh yes, if there's no multiplayer, my bad.
Okay.
If there's no multiplayer, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's just bad for us, because, well, it's no fun.
It is frustrating having when you go from sharing the same television screen to having your own and playing online, and then going back. It is frustrating where I might be playing Halo ODST with a bunch of people online, having my own screen to myself, and then a friend comes over and suddenly we have to split the screen, and you're just like, ugh. I don't like
yeah,
that.
it's kind of annoying, but I think it's still fun.
What?
Um,
Warhammer Ancient War didn't split the screen though. You're both on the same screen, moving about.
so it's like Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in some ways I think that's worse, because if one of you wants to go in one direction and the other one wants to go in another direction, you can't.
He got caught. We had to go through a gate, and he didn't quite make it through the gate. And I went so far up to the screen that he couldn't move out. Like, nothing physically is keeping him from going backwards, but the screen just blocks him into the gate, and then all the monsters swarmed him.
I think the worst thing is when a game does have co-op multiplayer, but they'll only let you do it online, and that's happened a few times in some games. I can't remember any specific titles, but they'll have co-op multiplayer, but they won't allow split screen.
Yeah, that
I'm
sucks.
pretty sure one of the Call of Duty games did that. And it was weird, because you could play split screen zombies, you just couldn't play split screen the main campaign.
But then again, if you are having friends over, I think playing split screen zombies is perfectly alright.
Oh yeah, but I just thought it was really stupid.
Of course, it's Call of Duty. I don't think that Call of Duty is known for being progressive and, challenging, at least not on,
Yeah, but it wasn't progressive. It wasn't like not being progressive so much as it was taking a step back.
retarding itself out of existence then.
But I will admit though, I think Call of Duty Zombies is one of the best things to happen to gaming ever.
It certainly is fun, but I still think the definite zombie experience for gamers is Left 4 Dead.
See, I like them both for different reasons. I just like all the cool stuff you can do in the different Call of Duty Zombies maps. Like, there's the patterns that you have to like holding off the waves. There's the different patterns. It's like, okay, so we're gonna open this door and this door. We're gonna Uber our weapons. Not to mention there's the whole random box thing, and it's just that's what I love about it. Like there's the moon map, and where you have zero gravity. There's the map where you have to start a rocket launch. There's the map where you start on a space station and go down to the American compound. I think that was the moon map. What am I thinking? I think it's actually, even though Left 4 Dead has the special zombies, I think it's got more variety than Left 4 Dead in its own way.
I have to admit I haven't played lots of Left 4 Dead or the Call of Duty Zombie mode, but from what I played I liked Left 4 Dead better. But that may have been because I got to play the special zombie and smash the hell out of the other player group.
Oh yeah, that's the fun thing about that.
Yeah, I got spawned as a tank. It was my first time playing and it just killed everyone.
Yeah, the tank is amazing. They just give the tank to a random player, like partway through the match.
Yeah. I just killed everything. It was very satisfying.
I remember on Left 4 Dead 2, I was playing as the Infected, and I got the Smoker, which is the one with the long tongue that can snare people.
Yeah, it's really mean.
I was just watching, and waiting, and hiding, and then I saw all of the survivors just going up this really thin sort of like gangway,
Roller coaster, wasn't it?
above a very high drop.
Ah.
And just last one up there was Coach, so I just snared him, and so he was just dangling really far away, and they could shoot me or shoot my tongue out, but he would fall to his death.
Oh, that's mean then.
It was always
Yeah.
it was always depressing when, if there was a period where you had the drop, and you're the last one who has to drop over the edge and the smoker catches you, there's no way they can get back up and shoot the smoker.
Yeah, that is the worst
And
thing.
you're just like, oh no, you cheap little bugger.
Do you remember in Left 4 Dead 2 when they had they rotate the special game modes?
No.
Oh, they had this thing called Special Infected where they rotate the different game modes, and when they first started doing it, they chose the most popular one and added it as a permanent game mode, which I think was like real, and it was like the infected versus survivors thing with the realism mode added. But I think that was the wrong one to choose, because there was this one called Lone Survivor, which is Left 4 Dead, but you're playing on your own, and you don't have any of the NPCs.
Oh, that
They
sounds
should have made
interesting.
that the permanent one, just because it's the one that stands out and it's the one that makes it a really single-player experience. I don't know what they were thinking. But no, you can only get it now just by having it on the random rotation, which I think is utterly stupid.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't the original point I was going to make. There was one of the special infected game modes where basically the goal was that, you were the 4 survivors, but the first one onto the thing won.
So it's a race.
Yeah, but that didn't go well, because it basically just involved people trying to dick with each other as much as possible from the get-go.
Well, that was, that's very much obvious. I mean, that's what I would have
But
expected.
no, literally, like, there was a thing, I can't remember which map it was, but you start in the safe room, and then you climb up a ladder to a second floor in the safe room, and then go out the door. And basically, 3 of them would climb up, like they'd all run to the thing, the 3 of them would climb up, and the last guy would just get shot every time he tried to mount the ladder.
I am thankful that the majority of the gaming community does play with respect towards each other and not just, I'm gonna suddenly go crazy and team kill. Because it'd be hard to play a game if that happened all the time.
Yeah. Just team killing
Oh, I
each
just
other all
realised
the
I forgot
time.
to check my escapist PM.
Oh. Like,
Sorry I didn't get on. I wound up missing that stuff, so my sincere apologies. Well, I've got his Skype thing for the next one.
Ah, very
Okay.
good.
We're still hanging though.
I played a few weeks back when just before you joined us that night, Jack. We were playing ODST.
Yeah,
And
we ended up playing it later.
Everyone was playing nice. Everyone was, helping each other out. And then just the start of one mission. I don't know who. I think it was Knifer or Toad, but one of them just decided, I'm gonna go postal, and started shooting us. Grenades started flying, and
Oh god.
it didn't work too well. And then after we got tired of each other, we just said, okay, let's go forward.
Ouch.
Okay, I'm just kind of browsing Facebook while I did this, while I'm doing this, and there's a comment that I made. I'm actually just gonna check.
Oh, while you're doing
Um,
that, just to let everyone know, there is now a Facebook page for the Community Cast.
Good to know. I might have to join that then.
Okay, there's a Facebook post that I made on this guy's picture in December, and
That's
it's
a while
still
back.
and it's still getting likes.
What exactly did you say, for God's sake?
Oh, it's a picture of a guy with like his hands clasped, looking at the camera, and his mouth slightly open. And I just posted, "You look like you're getting ready to do a BBC report,"
Huh.
and it's still getting liked.
Not bad. You're internet popular. You're an internet star by now.
It's not even that many likes in the grand scheme of things. It's only 16, but just the fact that it's been all that widely spaced is weird.
Maybe it's
That has happened before, though, where you post something on Facebook, and like a year later, someone will be going through your pictures or going through comments, and then suddenly you'll get an update about it after you've
Yeah, it's like,
completely forgotten.
Oh, that's rather nice that got liked. Slightly creepy that someone sought that out, though.
That's why I never, or rarely ever post on Facebook at all.
Yeah.
Only in, user groups and stuff, but I think I never made a real Facebook post.
Most of my Facebook friends are back when I was actually at the university as a student. They were just all international students. When I was at the university, I also worked in the international office as a student employee. so that like half my friends are just from all different parts of the world. And my mom
Yeah.
or my sister will get on to be like, how do you know all these people?
Yeah, my family's quite like that with all the people that I know, all my American friends and Caliban and basically a bunch of people like that.
My family does not go through my Facebook friends, so...
Well, they don't so much as just that, like, we'll be having a conversation that'll be relevant, and I'll mention just some random person. Oh, such and such, blah, blah, blah. It's like, how the fuck do you know that person? It's like,
That happens to me as well. I just say university. It's always an explanation, It's the explanation for every guy you know.
do
If
you
I happen
occasionally
to...
have to lie?
No, because, well, I do know you through university, kind of, because being at the university gives me the opportunity to do the podcasts, which is how I got to know you. So it's maybe not university in the first degree, but it's university, so it's not a lie.
It's a kind of a lie. I'm just looking at this picture, and it's two guys sitting on chairs, surrounded by like a crowd, and they've both got their heads buried because everyone's taking pictures, because they're holding hands, and the caption is, "These guys were found fighting inside of the school. As punishment
Seen
for
it.
fighting, they were given a choice: the options, suspension, or holding hands for an hour."
I've seen the picture. I like the picture. But I have something to talk about still. It's
Go on.
about culture and stuff, and off-topic enough for the Failcast.
Okay.
I just want to plug a great band for a second. Do you know Wax Fang?
No.
By any chance, yeah, I thought not.
I'm still
Have you
listening
seen...
to Van Halen repeatedly.
Yes, Van Halen is awesome, but Wax Fang is, I think it's as hipster as it gets. They're an indie band from America. I just know them because a friend of mine knows them through another friend of his, so basically I don't really know them. But they do make awesome music. They were featured in the latest American Dad episode. If you've seen that one,
I haven't
I don't
really
know.
watched American Dad in a while.
Still, you should go check out Wax Fang if you ever get the chance, because they are pretty awesome as far as music goes.
And
If
that's
you like psychedelic rock, that is.
I'll try to remember that.
wax like WAX.
Yes.
Okay.
Their most popular song is probably Majestic, then Cannibal Summer, and World War II Part 2. And they're all very much worthwhile, and all very much strange. Or fucked up, if you want.
My friend keeps getting me to listen to these bands called Metric and AWOL Nation.
AWOL Nation is awesome, and you should go listen to them right the fuck now.
Okay.
There's no discussing this. If you haven't listened to them, you should check out Sail immediately.
Sure, I'll do that later.
Do that, and I will wait for your reaction. It's just
Right.
very awesome.
I don't think it'll beat Van Halen though.
It won't beat Van Halen, but if you like fucked up lyrics, Sail will be right up your alley.
Oh, sure then.
Or, what's the name? Jump on My Shoulders. To be fair, the guy has a lot of fucked up lyrics, but they're all awesome.
Fair enough.
I think it's described as electro with or electronic rock or something.
I see.
As you can tell, I'm a fan of his work, so...
Okay, the other one is Tallest Man on Earth or something.
I don't know if I've heard of him, so...
It's not them, it's a guy playing guitar and singing.
Guy playing guitar and singing.
And
Does he have
then
any popular songs or something?
I don't really know because I haven't really listened to him, but in response, I got the same friend into a band called the Mountain Goats.
Ah, I know them.
They're very good.
I like him. I like him really. I really do.
How did you find out about those? Them? Him? Them?
I don't know. It could be that you told me about them.
I think I might have.
You might have mentioned them once or twice or 20 times or something.
I don't think I pestered you about them precisely, but I think I might have mentioned them to you.
Yes, you have mentioned them. I like them. They're good music. It's
Yeah, they're
fun.
quite mellow.
Yeah. As far as mellow music goes, I like. As far as mellow music goes, I like them. I really do.
Yeah. Of course, nothing for me will ever top the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That is your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion.
That
of
is my
course.
favourite band in the world.
Ooh, a favorite band. Do I have a favorite band in the world? That's a hard question.
It's hard because I like so many different genres of music that I can't say I have a favorite. Because I listen to
I do like multiple genres, it's just that they will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Oh, there are lots of bands who always hold special places in my heart. For
Yeah, but
example,
I mean the most specialist.
Nah.
the specialist place. I I don't know. AC/DC will always hold a very special place in my
Yes.
heart because it just, when I was very young, I would go to my father's stereo. You know, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. My father was still asleep, and I just crank up AC/DC. Sometimes it got me in trouble, but it was awesome. It was always worth it.
enough.
That's a good way to wake up, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Though
Then, of course,
one day I did drive to
Dude.
work, and I did have that playing very loudly in my car. And this was like 8 in the morning when I got to my office. I did have a bit of a headache. They're like, you waking up, Tessie? I'm like, no, I just listened to Thunderstruck, and now I can't hear anything.
Oh, Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck is
Do you remember
great.
that article that ran on The Escapist a while ago that there was this facility in Iran that was supposedly creating nuclear weapons, and someone uploaded a virus into their computer systems that basically wiped out all of their data and
Yeah.
automatically played over the intercom Thunderstruck at top volume.
Well, that's an awesome virus, I gotta say. I mean,
Just because you've been Thunderstruck. It's like, yes, they have.
And
Didn't know Tony Stark was fighting terrorists.
it's all
I
the
didn't know that, but
it's all
it's
the
awesome.
all the better if they don't understand English.
You don't need to understand English to get the message this time. I mean, and of course, Van Halen will always hold a very special place in my heart because, well, it's Van Halen.
Yes, I do love
Oh,
Van
yes.
Halen.
I think everyone loves Van Halen. If they don't, they're not human.
Oh,
I think
of
it's
course.
our. Yes, we like to generalize a bit, but I think if you meet someone who doesn't love Van Halen, he's probably a crap person.
Probably.
And of course, I really like CC Top because they have awesome beards. Except for the drummer, whose name is Beard.
How ironic.
But really, I can't.
I-
I mean, I also always like Manowar because they just make the best show you can imagine.
I think if I really had to like a band, I do like 38 Special, Southern rock band. I like Southern rock as well as I like classic rock.
Southern rock is great.
Allman
Yeah.
Brothers, Doobie Brothers, I also like. But I think 38
The-
Special is what I would prefer to listen to in the car if I was on a long road trip.
If it comes to Southern rock, I also like Lynyrd Skynyrd, if
Yes.
I pronounce it correctly.
Yep.
Freebird is one of the greatest songs ever written.
Yeah,
For example.
I've been listening to a lot of soundtrack lately.
As in game soundtrack or
well,
movie
a lot of
soundtracks?
soundtracks from a lot of things. Just, anime soundtracks, film soundtracks, stuff like that.
I really like the score for Lord of the Rings lately.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone always likes, and I do like it a lot.
And I really like Inception as well, and the score from Deus Ex Human Revolution is awesome.
Mm. The Portal 2 has a very good soundtrack.
I'll out myself now and I say I haven't played Portal 2 yet.
Oh, you need to. It's very good.
I haven't
The
gotten around
humor's
to it.
amazing.
Everyone keeps telling me that I should play it, but I don't know, I didn't have the time, or first I didn't have the money, and now I don't have the time anymore.
Oh wow.
Just find a
Um,
friend who has it. It's really fun if you play on co-op.
See, there's a co-op campaign that's separate from the main game.
I've
So-
read about that.
Yeah,
Aren't
so
you
if you actually want to
play-
experience the main story, which has a lot going for it, then I'd play it on your own.
I'll get it as soon as I can, as soon as I'll have some time on my hands with nothing better to do, I'll play Portal 2 as well. I
Excellent.
like the first game very much, so
Like most students in the United States, now that summer's finally come, I can actually devote more time to gaming. Instead
Yeah,
of
see,
coming
if-
home from work at 5 and then, oh, now I gotta go do homework for my grad degree, and now I can just come home at 5 and be like, I'm done.
Yeah, see,
That's
my
great.
assuming that my exam results are okay, I'll be on a gap year, and that gap year is predominantly, to write my novel. But then the other side to it is just going to be me watching anime and Breaking Bad and playing games and shit.
sounds like a good plan.
It will be. I'm also trying to get the money together to do some travelling, so that'll be the other side of it. But for a large portion of the year, it's going to be me just kind of like enjoying lack of responsibility.
If you ever want to come to Germany, you're very welcome.
I'm actually interested in taking you up on that offer now.
I won't back out.
Although it would be hilarious seeing us walk down the street together because you're thick set and 6'8", and I've got a fairly kind of sort of slender build, and I'm 5'10".
Okay, that would make for a great difference, yes. Yeah, don't have a lot of free time on my hands. The next free day that I've planned is actually probably after my exam. Until then, I'll study pretty much every day.
Well, as I said, I'm on my exam course now, but yeah, it's a gap year for what will essentially be 2014 until September.
This is probably the best time of the year for me because technically we're open all year round because we have to take care of students for the summer and help prepare them for the fall. But about a week or 2 weeks after school gets out, they're not here. They're not coming back. It's going to be very quiet in the office. I do have to go over all my international students' grades just to make sure they're making progress, because it is a requirement I have to check on, but otherwise it should be a pretty quiet week.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
And sadly, they're not doing good progress.
Oh, well, to be fair, I know it's your job, but at the same time, that's not your problem.
No, well,
Not really, no.
it becomes my problem when they come crying to my desk because I have to kick them out of school.
Well, of course, then you have to deal with emotional trauma they're going to, but it's really their own fault if we're being honest.
Well, it doesn't help that we're
is.
next to a university, and if what happens is about half my students come in because they like the area, they have relatives out here, and they want to come and study. Then you get the other batch that get kicked out of the university, but they don't want to leave the town yet, so they run to my office.
And do what?
They run to my office and ask if they can transfer from the university to my school.
Right.
So I have to put up with them, and then of course they don't usually change their habits after they do that. So
Okay.
there's like maybe 1 in 3 I'll send back to the university once they get their grades up, and then the other 2 will just
Bail and fail.
Yeah.
See, the thing that I think the university students need to be aware of is that it's not like, government issue education where if you piss about, ignoring for a moment the fact that it's your future down the drain, it's not really any skin off your nose. But I think when you go to university, you have to be aware of the fact that regardless of whether you fail or not, you're still going to have to pay back that debt. It's not like a money back if you don't get what you need.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
And
Well-
another thing is that if you're in university, no one will care if you fail.
No.
It's your own responsibility.
Well,
Everyone else will try to succeed. Maybe your friends will care, but your professors or the university itself, they won't care.
well, I won't quite say that because immigration will care.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
If you come
Professors,
to,
I think, would care in the extent that it affects their grade average for their classes.
Well,
And
I
also some
just
of
say-
some of the more devoted ones might be like, "Oh man, that sucks," kind of thing. But
Well, I
you're
can
right,
say
after a
I can
point,
safely
they
say
don't
that
care.
none of my professors would care if any one of us failed or died. Well, probably if we died horribly, but if we fail, it's not their problem. It's our problem.
Nice.
We don't get grades. We just get you succeeded or you didn't succeed, and that's all for most of the semester, except for the exam coming up now. But other than that, they don't care. I mean, we're 400. I think we're 400 students only in my semester. So
What year of university are you in now?
it's my second year in my 4th semester.
Out of how many years is your medical course running?
I think 7.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, it's really,
Have fun with that debt.
there is none, because I live in Germany and we don't have to pay for university.
Oh, fuck you too.
communist.
Yes, you know what I pay for a semester? 250 euros, and that's so I can drive the bus and the train around all the time as much as I like. Theoretically, I could just drive around the town in a bus all day long without ever paying anything.
You Central Europeans are so spoiled. Do you?
Because we have a good social system.
Yeah, but to be
Yeah,
fair, you
yeah.
pay higher taxes than we do, right? I'm pretty sure that's
Yes,
how
we
it
do.
works. Yeah.
Pretty much.
We pay higher taxes, but we have free healthcare and free university and stuff, which
We
is
have free
pretty
healthcare. Only the Scots have free university.
awesome. Well, I like my free university. I'm going to be honest here.
Yeah.
I really
Well-
like the fact that I don't have to take up a huge amount of debt to go through university.
That would be quite handy.
Yes, because my plan should be that afterwards I should go to the US as a doctor and start there, because as far as I know, they have higher wages in the first years, because
Because it's all
There's
privatised, they don't have a medical. They have a free medical system, which is completely idiotic.
for that
Seriously,
and
Jesse,
because the
The
students
Americans
come
are
out
like
of
the
university.
only people with like this level of advanced society / culture or whatever that doesn't have a form of free healthcare practically.
Could you write
And
that in a
the
letter
only
to my
reason-
senator?
The only reason for it is, well, it'd be making us slightly more like them. They're communists.
Yeah,
Damn
because
socialism.
that's what will come up in the conversation. Is someone will mention we need better healthcare, cheaper healthcare, and
Communist.
someone will say, "Oh, you're like the French," and for some reason that's an insult, which I don't understand.
With the communist thing, I am a capitalist. I think private business is a good thing. I think capitalism is the best for encouraging people to succeed. But at the same time, calling someone like a communist isn't necessarily an insult.
But you know who invented
But
free
they don't
healthcare,
use the word
basically?
communist. They use the word French or socialist.
Well,
Well,
so
I wouldn't want to be
Like,
called
well,
a French person.
You French or you Canadians? It's like, what's wrong with them?
yeah.
Except they
Most
seem to
things
burn
I
all
know
their
are
cars,
nice.
but that's beside the point.
Well, of course, yeah.
Carry
But-
on. What Caliban? What
But
were you going to say?
as I was saying, free healthcare wasn't invented by the French. I think it was Bismarck, Prussian. If you can learn anything from the Prussians, is how to be efficient, how to be pragmatic.
Yeah, but saying
You're
you're
right.
like
Gone now.
saying you're like the Germans isn't so much of an insult these days. For some reason, the French still carry a stigma with the more conservative people of the United States. Like, for some reason, they're bad, but I don't understand why. Like, we've always had a healthy relationship with France. They say they helped us in the revolution, we helped them
Yeah,
in
but the only
wars.
reason they helped you with the revolution is
Because they hate you.
Yeah. In fact, the only reason we lost that is because they were helping you, and we were on war on like several other fronts.
Yeah, and to be honest, when World War I came about, I think most people did not know which side the United States were going to fall on.
Yeah.
Well, we don't like the Germans, but the British. Ugh. Should we help them?
But you're our child.
Yeah, and you sacked our
That would make for an
capital.
interesting therapy session. US and Great Britain. Yep.
Have you
I
ever
see
watched
that.
Hetalia?
No.
Don't think so, no.
It's an anime, and once again, I'm going to say watch the English version, just because then, at least for me, you get all the accents and the obviously stereotypes come through better than reading subtitles on the screen. But basically, every country is a person, and it's basically a satire of world history with a slight focus on World War II. And all of like the main countries and the main characters, but the main sort of trio are the Axis powers.
Seems interesting.
I'm just going to point out, it skates incredibly over the Holocaust, but other than that, it's really historically accurate, and like it's really funny.
And to be fair, I mean, the Holocaust does not make for good material in a
No.
series. I mean, it's just something
And sometimes they
too
do
depressing.
sometimes they do random sketches, like there's a recurring one, and it's like what would happen if X country owned a cafe. And like the German one was that a guy walks in, the German person tells him to sit down, and if he doesn't order within 5 minutes, he will be killed. And the German guy like brings him a coffee, tries to make a joke, laughs maniacally, and then when the guy leaves, he wishes him good fortune and hopes that he doesn't die.
That's interesting. I'll have to say that we don't usually say goodbye, don't die. as a
Well, it's more like it's just like a really severe goodbye.
I would have-
and the
I would
guy's
have-
just really freaked out.
I would have to say, Caliban, if you were to come to the United States as a doctor, I think you would scare the shit out of most of us.
What,
How
a
so?
6'8" German doctor.
As I was telling Caliban and before, just before we
Just
got
because it
on,
would be incredible. Sorry, can I just?
if
I'm
if
just
you
gonna-
have,
I'm just gonna cut you off here momentarily. It would just be amazing. Just have big ass 6'8" German doctor. We are going to have to perform surgery.
this will hurt. Is there
Oh,
a
you're
joke in
going to
there?
need so much anesthetic.
This is going to hurt so bad. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think my German accent has improved immensely since I started talking to you.
That's good then.
Yeah.
Always good to talk about something positive. But
Carry
Jesse,
on.
you were saying something about me scaring people.
Well, for those who haven't seen what Peter looks like, I mentioned that if he were to dye his hair blonde, he would look like Ivan Drago from Rocky 4. Which apparently other people have told Peter that as well, so he does look very similar to that
I've
man.
only seen one picture. Can I get another?
Jesse has seen the very same picture, I believe, but I
Well,
can't
yeah, but
send
it's
you
been
the
ages. I want to
picture.
see it again. Just to,
Okay, I'll send you the picture. Just
if I can get Skype to pop up because.
I can imagine you're just little, maybe like 5'7", 5'9".
I'm 5'10".
I'm 5'9", so I consider myself average. You're a freak. Anyway,
Hey.
but just imagine a shorter American
Thing is,
walking into a...
I am average, but I always make friends with the really tall people.
I'm the runt of my family, because my brothers and my dad, they're over 6 foot, and I'm 5'9". They're built, they're muscular, and I'm scrawny and skinny. They can bench press. I can run away really fast.
Well, let's get this done. I remember when you showed me this. Oh yeah, that is fairly severe. You know, when you sent me that, you had it suggested to you that you look like Dean Winchester.
I've been told that I look a bit like Dean Winchester, yes.
I don't really see it personally. I just think your jaw is too like heavy, and your brow is too pronounced for Dean Winchester. Because I think the whole thing about Dean Winchester is he's got like, you know, not delicate features, but he's got like very fine features.
That is true, yes. But as I said, I'm only going with what people told me how
I think
whom I resemble.
I think if I plucked my Thunderous Eyebrows, I might be able to pull it off.
Your
But I haven't
Thunderous
tried.
Eyebrows.
Have you seen my eyebrows?
I have.
They are thunderous.
Yes, but the description Thunderous is really impressive for eyebrows. You know,
Yeah, but they are
what are
that-
his striking features?
They're that
Well,
impressive. To put
He's got crystal clear, piercing eyes. But really impressive, it's the fact that he has thunderous eyebrows. Not average, not not thick eyebrows. They are thunderous.
Just to put anyone who hasn't seen me in a frame of mind, I once got mistaken for Daniel Radcliffe, except that I have brown hair and my eyebrows may be slightly thicker. I haven't decided yet.
That's... I don't know, I don't have Daniel Radcliffe's eyebrows in my head all the time, I'm sorry.
No, but seeing as I've had the comparison made, I kind of have to.
And by the way, I'm probably closer to 6'7" than 6'8", just to
Don't
exaggerate.
ruin it!
But it's been getting more and more all the time, you know? You started with 6'6" once, and then it's 6'7", and
Yeah, I want to
6'8".
see if by the end of I want to see if like by the end of 2015 you are officially 7 foot.
It's
I
like
think that would be stretching a lot, you know?
Peter's
No, I mean,
is a
Just by
quintessential
hearsay.
American folklore where every time someone talks about him, he just gets more impressive each time.
yeah, it's like that.
The legend of
have you ever seen
Peter.
it's like, have you ever seen the episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes fishing and catches that giant catfish?
Yes.
And at the end, the guy owning the bait shop is telling a story about him, and he like really exaggerates his appearance. It's like, you know, he's got arms the size of tree trunks and thunderous red hair with a massive beard and eyes like hellfire.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
that's pretty much
And
it.
as I said, just so if you ever meet me in person, you don't get your hopes up and expect me to be 3 meters tall and 5 meters, you know, across the chest and something.
Oh, I still expect
Breathing
it.
fire.
Hey,
What is still expected?
here's the thing. I expect it. It's up to you to live up to the expectation.
Yeah, deal with it.
Breathing fire part might be a bit hard, I admit.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I believe if I trained a bit more and stuff, I could get broader. I could pull off very convincing Ivan Drago.
yeah. I
Then
think
work a bit,
once I've bulked up a little bit, I might be able to do the Dean Winchester thing.
and then I need to work on my Russian accent and go to America to work as a doctor.
Oh yeah.
Well, the
No, but you
actor
wanna be-
is
you want- no, but
Swedish.
you want to be an intimidating German doctor, because then you can be like the medic.
Ah,
Ah, okay, yes. Oh, of course that would work.
this will hurt a lot, but here's a sandwich.
No, what was the line? Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry, that will grow back. No, it
No, it
won't.
won't. Don't worry, ribs grow back. No,
Yeah,
they
that
don't.
was it. Don't worry, ribs grow back. No, they don't.
Oh, because he was
Yeah, I
talking
think-
to the pigeon that flew out.
Yeah. Archimedes,
Archimedes.
get out of there, you filthy vermin.
Yeah, I really like the medic special, I have to admit. Not only because it's German, but because it was really
I actually
funny.
think you look a lot like the medic now that I think about it.
Just put some glasses on.
I don't need glasses, but if needs be, for image reasons,
Yeah,
I
and
could
then
get glasses. I
and
believe.
just get like a white lab coat and red gloves and a cartoonishly large syringe.
I already own white
Or, you know, a
lab coats.
Ghostbusters equipment outfit.
Oh yeah, it would work.
Yeah, just,
But I do already own the white lab coat, so that's not a problem.
yeah, and then you need red gloves.
The red gloves I don't have. I have white gloves around here, and
And
I
they
have
have,
a
to be, they'd have to be
skull.
red rubber gloves.
I know that I have to be the red rubber gloves, but I can't, don't have them at hand right now. I do have a skull though,
Oh, yeah.
if that would help, and sharp medical instruments,
Excellent.
which I use to cut up a corpse and dissect it, just for authenticity's sake.
Oh, yeah. Right, well, we're getting to 1 hour. We're getting up onto 1 hour 20 now, so let's draw this one to a close.
Well, before we leave, Jack, you gotta say his name again.
Fuck. Peter Pietruk. Pietruk.
Pietruk?
Peter Pietruk.
Are you sure about that? Do you want to log it in?
Is that my final answer?
Yes. Is it your final
I'm going
answer?
to go with Peter
You
Pietruk.
can call a friend.
Call Jesse.
No, call Caliban.
Force Jesse to do it as well.
Just okay, just shut up. I'm going to go with Peter Pietruk.
Not exactly. No, it's Pietruk.
Pietruk.
Pietruk. Jesse is closer than you are, Jack.
Pietruk.
Pietruk. Okay.
Pietruk. Yeah.
Let's
Okay,
say it again.
Pietruk.
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 Okay, Caliban, listen. Pietruk.
It still sounds too Russian. It's not an O sound. It's a U sound.
Oh, Pietruk.
Yes, more like that. That's
Pietruk. Okay, cool.
yeah. That's close.
Yay! I finally got it. Alright, now let's disappear.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Or better yet, bye. This is 1 hour of your life you'll never get back. Bye.